Hello children, today we're going to look at the assumption method. Okay, let's read this question and understand it. A carpenter spent $175 on 8 hammers and handsaws. So we know from the first line that there are 8 items and these are either hammers or handsaws. Next, a handsaw costs $35. A hammer costs $21 less. By the word $21 less, it tells us that we do not know yet how much a hammer costs. How many handsaws did the carpenter buy? Okay, so the picture over here also shows us the problem. We know the price of a handsaw, but we don't yet know the price of a hammer. But we do know that it is $21 less. And we know that the total cost of buying 8 of these items is $175. So how will we solve this problem? We do not know how many of each are there, and we only know the price of one of the items. How should we approach this problem? Now, if you recall guess and check method, you may try to use the guess and check method, and essentially it looks like this. We may find out whether will 8 handsaws cost $175. If not, then we try 7 handsaws and 1 hammer. Of course, I would have easily found the price of 1 hammer. If not, then I'll try 6 handsaws and 2 hammers, and so on and so forth until you finally get the answer. Of course, it is very slow, but it is still a possible way to get the answer. Okay, there's a lot of calculation involved. Instead, we are going to learn the assumption method. So what is the assumption method? The assumption method simply makes use of a special pattern in such word problems to solve them. In a sense, we can say maths saves the day. Okay, let's look at what is this special pattern that we can identify in questions like this. So, in the assumption method, we always start with all the items being one of the items. Since we have the cost of the handsaws, we are going to assume that all of the items are handsaws. That will give us our initial assumption, and the total will make up to $280. Clearly, that is not $175, and so we need to work at it. Now, let's talk about the special pattern. You noticed that when I were to switch one handsaw into a hammer, the total cost reduces by $21. Can you see that? Okay. What if I were to switch one more handsaw into a hammer? Now you see that if I switch 2 handsaws into hammers, then I would also reduce the total by $21 twice. 2 parts of $21 is removed from the total when I change 2 handsaws into hammers. The total now with 2 hammers will be $280 minus 21 minus 21, which is 238, which is still not $175. Now let's see, if I were to continue again, what do I notice? Okay, so now I have an animation to show you. How do I change one handsaw into a hammer? Okay, first I do some shifting around. Next, I know that one hammer is a cost of something plus $21, so I've just done the replacement. Let's see again. Now I have 3 hammers, and you notice the total also changes by 3 times of $21. So do you see a pattern over here? The number of hammers that I've included in the 8 items would also correspond to the number of the $21 difference that I have to take away from my initial assumption. And so, to solve this question, I simply need to take my initial assumption, which is 280, and minus 21 as many times as I need to get to the correct answer of $175. Do you see that? So if I minus 1 time is not enough, minus 2 times, not enough, minus 3 times, not enough, I can go on forever until I get the answer to be 175. Is the problem much simpler now? Okay, now, so with that understanding, we realize the problem can be solved simply by repeatedly subtracting $21, which is the difference between the cost of the hammer and a handsaw, repeatedly subtracting $21 from the initial assumption of $280 until I get the $175. Is that all? Well, there's one more trick that we can pull out of our sleeves to solve this even faster. If I were to minus without a calculator, it can still take very, very long. I've rephrased the question into how many times must I subtract $21 from my initial assumption to get the total amount spent of $175. The number of times that I need to subtract $21 will also tell me the number of hammers that are in the 8. Now, to solve the question here, I can also use division for repeated subtraction. So let me show you. So our initial assumption is $280. And I need to minus a lot of $21 to get $175. Since we are doing repeated subtraction and we are subtracting the same number over and over again, so the total amount that I need to minus from 280 would be 105. And dividing 105 by 21 will tell me how many times I need to take away 21. And the answer is 5. Remember, this represents the number of hammers, whereas our initial assumption, we assume that all 8 are handsaws. So 5 hammers and 3 handsaws. The carpenter bought 5 hammers and 3 handsaws. Since the question only asked for handsaws, then the answer will be 3 handsaws. Okay? So over here, I hope you see an example of how we use division to solve repeated subtraction problems. Alright, and I hope it helps. Thank you. Have fun learning.